still in the parking lot, so I figured I had some time to get it cleared with his roommate and surprise my boyfriend. I texted his roommate and asked if I could let myself in, and he said of course, but my boyfriend had gone out of town for the rest of the week. I was confused. His parents have a house in Imperial Beach, but he always wants me to go with him. I called him and he said that yes, he was going, but he was still in town getting some stuff together. I asked him if I could come with him, and he said no, it was just a boys' trip. I told him that I was actually in his dorm parking lot and wanted to surprise him. He gave me this very condescending, "Oh, that's nice." I asked if he could at least please come by and see me, or we could meet up since I went through a lot of work to put this together. He just dismissively said, "No, I can't. We're already on our way." He then said that maybe he could come next weekend to see me, but I should just drive back, and then basically hung up. I looked at Find My Friends, and it turns out he was literally passing by his dorm as we were talking on the phone. He could have easily stopped by and said hello, and this really hurt. Maybe it was stupid, but I called his friends and they all said the same thing. The thing that's so sus is that none of them are going, and it's some random friend he's going with that none of them have ever met, but I shouldn't be suspicious. It's like all of them were coached into saying the right thing in short notice because they all said the same thing. I mean, I guess I could look at it like they all said the same thing because it's the truth, right? However, every one of my alarm bells is going off. This is so unlike him. Even if he were going there, he would have told me first. This is the first time he's ever gone without telling me or without inviting me. Maybe I'm a young, dumb, paranoid girlfriend, but my instincts are telling me something is up. What should I do here? I'm a teenage girl and was born when my mom was 18. I see my dad like 3 days a year at Christmas. My dad doesn't want me as much as he wants his other kids, but I try not to take it personally. My stepdad, who's been in my life since I was 5, is really nice to me, but I don't think he would care if I didn't exist. He makes my mom and little brother, my mom's and stepdad's bio kid, so happy and does a lot for me, and for that, he means the world to me. My mom's pregnant again, and this time I get a little sister. I'm just a little nervous, but my stepdad hasn't said anything about having his first daughter, so I really do appreciate him being sensitive to me, even though I know that he doesn't consider me to be his daughter. My mom's excited for another daughter too, and has been shopping for clothes and been putting together a nursery with me because I'm really good at art and I'm painting a mural for my sister. She keeps saying things to me like, "I'm so grateful to be able to give all of this to the baby that I wasn't able to give to you," and that she's blessed that she doesn't have to do it alone, and that she's really excited to see my stepdad be a dad again. I know I'm being selfish, so please don't think low of me because of course I want my mom to be happy, but when she says things like this, I feel like I'm worthless and that I'm a burden. I also feel bad for feeling bad because I want my mom to have a good life, and she at least stuck around because she could have left me like my dad did. Painting is really therapeutic for me, so I've been hiding away painting the nursery. At dinner today, my mom asked me why I've been so quiet, and I told her about my feelings. She got sad and my stepdad had to comfort her. I said I love her and was so grateful that she's my mom and for all that she's done for me, but she was still upset. I feel like the a-hole because I knew that she would get sad when I told her my feelings, but I told her anyways. Am I the asshole for telling my mom and stepdad the real reason I was upset? Story time about this guy who was harassing his ex-girlfriend at the bar I worked at. I work in a sports bar and grill in a reasonably small town. We're a popular hangout for local college kids that's one of the only spots with a full bar and some decent grub. I love this because contrary to popular belief, young people are usually better tippers and just all around more pleasant to their servers than the older crowd. One drawback though is they're certainly more dramatic than the older crowd. With these college kids, it's often either the best thing to spot your friends out and they get loud and excitable, or there's some rift between the groups and they get loud and excitable. For example, we had a college-age couple that came in a bunch almost every weekend. Then they split up. I see the guy from time to time getting loaded with his buddies, but the girl stopped coming in altogether. I figure she only came because he was bringing her here. On Friday, we were having ladies' night and she comes in with a small group of girls. There were maybe 5 altogether. They sat down at a booth and ordered some cheap drinks and kept to themselves. Fast forward like half an hour, this guy and his buddies come in. Without realizing, they take seats at the bar directly adjacent to this girl in her booth. I didn't recognize them as the couple at first, but the guy spotted her, and let's just say it became immediately clear who left who. Despite what he said, he started in with all these passive-aggressive and loud comments to his pals about how glad he was he dropped that fat bitch who was weighing him down, looking desperately over his shoulder hoping that she'd overhear him. She didn't, or if she did, she ignored him. He kept going with the insults for another moment or two before he got into some derogatory stuff about her breast specifically, and the bartender told him he had to keep it down because he was bothering people. The night went on and all parties involved got more drunk, his a lot more than hers. But she and her friends ignored him. Eventually, they got up to go dance and he quickly follows. I was lingering around, bringing drinks to people and keeping tabs to be sure nothing escalated. This poor girl, he was really tearing into her. The especially psycho thing is he alternated between insulting her and begging her to take him back. "You fat ugly bitch, I never wanted to be with you in the first place. I was with all my exes while we were together. And you'll never do better than me, so you should take this chance while you have it. We can start over. I forgive you." From this pathetic guy in the same string of conversation. She kept blowing him off and her friends who were taking notice kept breaking it up and relocating themselves. I was seconds away from having our bouncer spring him, but he seemed to cool off. However, that only lasted until she came to the bar where he followed her, but something amazing happened next. Part 2 of the guy who was harassing his ex-girlfriend at the bar I work at. So it only lasted until she came to the bar, not anywhere near him mind you, to get herself another drink. He starts saying all this stuff about, "You think anyone will ever want you like that? You can have me or you can have nothing. And I don't even want you. You were the worst decision I ever made. I don't even know why I'm giving you this chance." And on, until he's cut off by, "What are you saying to my girl, bro?" A towering guy sat down, put his arm around her and was like, "Sorry I'm late, babe. Practice kept dragging. "Can I help you, son?" He was 10 times more put together, better spoken, better dressed, way less effing sad or terrifying than the guy who'd been bothering her all night. The pathetic one was so drunk at this point that he didn't recognize he was outmatched and started launching into this incoherent screaming of, "She's a skink, whore, B, and you better not touch her because she's mine." To which the towering, calm guy stood up, took his jacket off, and said, without raising his voice, "Oh, so we have a problem?" This guy's friends noticed the situation and came to collect him at this point, just before one of our staff could intervene. But this new guy followed him over to his friends. He got right in his face and said, "If you have a problem with her, then you have a problem with me, so I think it's time to bounce." Drunk guy wasn't having any of it, but his friends were smarter, or at least more sober, and knew they didn't want trouble. Once they were gone, new guy went back over to his girl and says, "Hi, nice to meet you. My name's Isaiah. Sorry to get all involved like that. I hope I didn't overstep. It's just, I could not listen to another second of that. Seriously, that guy is scary. That's why I went with the boyfriend thing instead of saying, 'Hey, you suck, time to go.' I've got 3 sisters," and he set off all my alarm bells. At this point, I'm stunned. I was wondering who'd bring a date to ladies' night. They'd never even met. He was just a stranger who stepped in to protect her. After this, they chatted a bit and he walked her out. They were back here for their first date today.
Am I the asshole for telling my brother's girlfriend she's too heavy for her bike? So the other day, my brother brings home his girlfriend. He'd been telling me about her for a few months now, but we'd never met, and she's lovely. We start chatting about life, complaining about my brother, and then I bring up how I've been having issues with the gears on my bike. She then reveals that she's been having issues with her bike and that she's so disappointed because it was so expensive. It's a 1,000-pound electric bike that she has to get repaired every other month. I offered to have a look at it for her because I did a basic repair course when I was at uni, but I just wanted to be nosy. I mean, it's a 1,000-pound bike. I noticed a max weight label that says 252 pounds, 18 stones. It's immediately clear what the issue is. Am I the asshole for telling my brother's girlfriend she's too heavy for her bike? I noticed a label that says max weight 18 stones, which is 252 pounds. See, I, 22 female, currently weigh 18 stone, and compared to the girlfriend, 29 female, I'm tiny. I wait until we're alone and I say, "I don't mean to be rude, but I think the issue behind all of this is that you exceed the weight limit." She absolutely loses it. She starts ranting about how she's not even classed as overweight. Like, sure, she's a heavier girl, but I'll have you know I'm 2 pounds under 15 stone. She's yelling and screaming and my family rushes over. She tells them what I said and they're getting angry with me. I snap and say I'm literally 18 stone and medically obese. You are twice my size and clearly too heavy for this bike. Am I the asshole for refusing to be my best friend's maid of honor after she told me my fiance's not invited to the wedding? I've been dating my fiance for 10 years and we're expecting a baby due in March. My best friend is getting married in a month and she's been with their fiance for a year and they got engaged within 6 months. It's rushed in my opinion, but that's her decision. They got engaged around April and she asked me to be her maid of honor. She's planning on having a huge celebration with 200 plus guests. Naturally, I assume my fiance would be invited. My best friend has known him for 10 years and they're friendly. Also, most of our friends are married, so their spouses get an automatic invite. During a chat, I brought up my husband's suit and she said, but I never told you he was invited. I said only married and long-term couples. Am I the asshole for refusing to be my best friend's maid of honor after she told me my fiance is not invited to the wedding? I reminded her I'm engaged to that man, we're expecting a kid together, and I've been with him for 10 years. Also that we're planning to get eloped in a few months. She said she doesn't see our relationship as valid as it took us 10 years to make our relationship legal, and that our relationship is probably not that strong. I told her that's not her decision to make and that she doesn't get to decide whether my relationship is valid or not. She said we may break up so she doesn't want an ex in her photos. I told her she's being ridiculous with her bizarre beliefs and reminded her that I've been with my man for 10 years while she's been with hers for less than 1 year. I told her I'm dropping the maid of honor role because I refuse to be disrespected like that.
My brother told me that he heard my voice at work recently and he thought that's weird because my sister lives in another state. And then he realized that one of his coworkers was watching one of my TikToks. Thank you, by the way, coworker of my brother. And so he said, "Hey, that's my sister." And his coworker just said, "No, it's not." And he said, yeah, it is. And his coworker said, "You guys don't look anything alike. And this girl has a lot of followers, so no." And in the guy's defense, my brother and I don't look alike or like the same stuff or talk the same, or we're very different, but we do have the exact same parents. So that's a pretty big thing to have in common. And on the follower count, you don't lose siblings as you gain followers. It's not like every 100,000 siblings you just like... If there was a button I could press to trade certain siblings for followers, I would, and they know who they are, but that's not a thing. And so my brother said, "No, really, that is my sister." And the guy said, "Okay, well, if she's your sister, do you have any pictures of you guys together on your phone?" And my brother said, "No, I just got a new phone, so I don't have any pictures on it," which is true, but also sounds like something a liar would say. And then my brother found out that multiple of his work colleagues are subscribed to me on TikTok, which again, thank you. But he called me because he was concerned. He realized that his coworkers probably know me better than he does, because he doesn't follow me on TikTok because he doesn't think I'm that cool for some reason.